This is Larry.
Larry Reed.
Larry Reed.
From Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
And my sign says support and defend America's Constitution. I took an oath to do that, and that's why I'm here. First Amendment guarantees no establishment of religion so that everyone can have religious freedom. And they're really, really against that inside the church here.
Yeah, what I was right after they didn't let me in, I had that brochure out. I don't know what pocket I put it in, but I was going down through those points. You seen that thing?
No, I didn't read it.
Yeah.
I read the Geert. He spoke at a
that guy
event last month, or this month, or sometime in Italy.
Yeah.
And he was talking about Islam's not a religion; it's an ideology from some primitive desert people. Well, what does he think Judaism and Christianity is?
Right.
Excuse me. And he says it's not a religion because those are Judeo-Christian heritage is a different tree, different roots. Yeah. Well, Abraham is not in the Judeo-Christian heritage. Excuse me.
Islam sees itself as a part of that history.
The guy doesn't know what he's talking about, first of all, but he also talked about the fall of the Roman Empire and said that it was due to tolerance and immigration. And that's not what I read in any history books. I don't know where he got his information. They were probably amused by that in Italy, where he was saying that, because that has nothing to do with reality. But that's our boy Geert.
Yeah. It seemed like I heard his name, like on, I don't know if you watch Rachel Maddow.
No,
on MSNBC.
Missed that.
It seemed like she mentioned somebody that she was talking about, some politician, and talking about she was lining up all these GOP people that were lining themselves up with various Christian right people.
Yeah.
So what are you with a community of some sort, or a group or whatever, or you just out here on your own behalf?
Just out here to support and defend the Constitution and the First Amendment. That's it. I don't personally see any justification for religion, but it's in the Constitution. So, I'll defend something that I don't understand, but they're not willing to do that. The people inside are not willing to do that, to defend something they don't understand.
Well, and I come at it from from a theological perspective that that they don't afford the same type of explanations from the experts in that field as to what those things mean or what they take from them. Just like an outsider to Christianity would say, "Hey, look, the Bible says, blessed is he who smashes your little ones against the rock, or their little ones against the rocks." Mm-hmm. And so those are troublesome. A lot of Christians call those troublesome passages, but as far as I'm concerned, they're in there because they're part of the evolution of people's understanding of God and getting into and getting out of nationalism and keeping those from getting mixed up. And a lot of Muslims do that, and certainly a lot of Christians do that with a huge, humongous flag flying in front of the church.
Well,
when I first walked up, I took a picture of a pickup truck with a flag in the back, and right in the background there was that thing, and I kind of zoomed back and said,
excellent picture. That's a keeper. Where now? You live here?
I live in Laverne, so southeast. Yeah. I was a youth minister at one time at a church in Madison, at a Baptist church. The pastor was a very right-wing guy.
When I was before and after Vietnam, I was what they call a Jesus freak back then.
Yeah.
And I was in some of the very first, we call them Christian rock groups back then, but nobody wanted to hear it much. You start setting up drums in the church in 1969, and people,
what do you think you're doing? Matthews and all that. Yeah.
So, but I don't know. My personal evolution, I moved away from religion, but again.
Yeah.
I don't understand it at this point in my life, but it's part of
Yeah.
America.
I was telling them that I've got a blog that I've been doing since '02 called Theological, and I get on rants about politics. I mean, 2003, 2004 really got me ranting, and I haven't let up on that ever since then. As soon as Obama gets in, then then all the GOP madness stuff starts.
Ooh.
Yeah. So.
They went into orbit. You got to interview Fred. I was telling him, I said, of course, we're going to have to be nonviolent, but we can't vouch for Fred.
Yeah,
We might
right.
fight somebody.
Right.
They try to
Hey there.
mess with us.
Hey, Dad. Hey, buddy. Hate-free zone. So who are you?
Ward White.
Ward White?
Uh-huh.
Are you from around here?
I live here in Madison.
Madison?
I'm a political science major at MTSU.
MTSU, okay.
Uh-huh.
My son is going to start his last semester in digital media
Okay.
in the fall. So I might get him to help me mix this stuff up.
Cool.
He did a good job. I went and took some video at the rally to restore sanity in D.C., and he did a great for one of his projects for one of his classes for digital art. He did a good montage of all the video that I took. So
Cool.
yeah, so he went there for the recording industry major type stuff, all the communication
Yeah.
stuff. But oh, you said political science.
Political science, yeah.
His freshman roommate that's what his major was too, political science. So, are you done? Are you still in?
Oh, I'm still in.
Yeah.
Went back late in life. I'll never be out. And at this point, I can't afford to get out.
Yeah.
I need to stay in till I die at this point.
So what do you hope to do with a political science major? I major in sociology.
On
so.
to law school.
On to law school.
On to law school. If you start as old as I did, you got to come out and make some money. So, or stay in for life.
Yes. When I went to the rally to restore sanity in D.C., I stayed with a friend that had just back in December had started working for the Obama administration. He was a seminary professor of mine. And he's definitely a progressive Christian, and he works for the Obama administration in the Department of Education. He works it's sort of a cross group between the faith-based initiative and the Department of Education. So. Well, Ward, good to meet you.
Good to meet you.
And who's this?
It's Fred.
Hey, Fred. Hey, Fred. Hey. How's it going, Fred?
Do you live up here or down in Nashville? Or?
I live in Nashville.
Yeah, I live in
How are you?
Good, how are you? I've seen you before, are you?
Yeah.
One of the papers or?
No, I'm just an independent blogger. I used to work for the Methodist in the communications. Methodist Communications.
Maybe. Have you been to any of their events lately? It seems like.
Well, I've gone to some of the RCC meetings, Religious Communicators.
Yeah, that's where I've seen you.
Okay.
I'm the president of the Nashville chapter of RCC.
Oh, okay.
Brian Fessler's my name.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I have a blog called Theological that I started while I was working for the publishing house, not as a part of the publishing house, just on my own.
Okay.
And then later on I went to UMCom
Yeah.
to work there, both in web stuff. But before the web, my geekery was in video and audio. So
Okay.
now it's kind of
Look at you.
coming back together.
Yeah, you got it all set there. God bless you folks.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
God bless
Good to meet you.
Nice to wait on you.
Oh, yeah.
I think you were at one of our rallies downtown.
What the march thing over to the Muslim Center?
I think
Yeah.
you were.
Yeah, I was there. Yep. It's out. I mean, it was just like this afternoon. I was writing down some things about some video trips to take, and this, and going down to Murfreesboro and see if I could talk to one of the theological people at the Islamic Center
Uh-huh.
to talk to them about, how Christians, and particularly the less progressive Christians, look at Islam.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, this is great. I'll be able to have some stuff to say, okay, I saw this and I saw this. And of course, I'm not going to get as much as I hoped to because I was hoping to stay in the lobby and talk to people.
When you have something to hide, that's when you don't want to.
So who, can I ask you who you are?
My name's Renee.
Renee?
Renee Hall.
Renee Hall. And what got you involved in this?
I just believe that this is America, and however people choose to worship, they should be able to do that without any kind of hatred formed against them. This America, and that's what I'm here for. It's just not right. Not right. I believe that this country needs to learn how to assimilate, because there's not going to be any way that it's going to be one way or the highway. So we just got to all learn to love each other. Why can't we all just get along?
Oh. So how long is this thing supposed to be?
2 hours.
2 hours?
I was planning on staying here till I think this is going to be over probably around 8:30 or something like
7
that.
to 9 on
I was planning to stay till it either gets dark or till they start to break up.
I think it said he's having a news conference afterwards.
Oh, is
Yeah,
it?
press conference.
Yeah,
I'm
press
sure,
conference.
Yeah.
I don't guess
So
they'll
what-
talk to us.
No.
The only TV truck I see is Fox 17.
The thing about it
Channel
was,
2 just drove in.
Did they?
Their live crew came in with the antenna on the truck and everything. Yeah, Channel 2 is here. Channel.
They interviewed him a little.
I'm pretty sure Channel 4 is here too.
Yeah. So did any of y'all go down to Murfreesboro for any of those festivities?
The mosque.
Yeah.
I haven't been down there yet.
no, but I followed it on the news, and I thought it was sad.
Yeah.
I just thought the whole
Yeah.
thing was sad.
Well, I mean, they got to vote on whether you can build a church,
Yeah, you don't
and
have,
or who gets
exactly.
married, or
I know.
what?
I don't get it. Let them build what they want to build. I mean, really.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure he didn't have any trouble when he wanted to build this church.
Sure.
you know?
Yeah.
And some people might think he's a little extreme. So,
Yeah.
the paintbrush is both ways.
Well, I was Mike, right?
Larry.
Huh? Larry, I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's okay.
And Ward. Okay. I had my microphone turned way down too low when I was talking to you two guys.
Oh.
But I may ask you a couple of quick versions of that in a second. But yeah, I mean, extremism is that, like I was telling him, that flag.
And yet,
For me in my theology, that's a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
To have just a
It's
huge,
overdone.
big American
Yeah,
flag
it's
and no
just-
Christian flag.
Right, it's just overdone.
Not that I was really big on the Christian flag in the first place, but
Well,
No cross, but they got American flag.
yeah,
But
I mean,
it's interesting. It's like down around Murfreesboro, the World Outreach Church is sort of like
yeah,
the big fomenter of all the excitement and the fear and
yeah.
it's like every now and then they got to turn on the blender, and make it go.
Stir it up some more.
I'll come back to that in a second. I'm going to see who these people are here. Jesus. Think he knew any Muslims? Probably, I guess not.
Not for
I don't,
500 years.
I don't even know my history.
That's okay.
When did Islam start? It was somewhere around there, wasn't it? 1,000?
It was about a 500, yeah.
500 to 1,000, yeah. In time for the Crusades, anyway.
You sure do?
So, I'm an independent blogger, so this isn't a big audience at all whatsoever. But I hope to grow it a little bit.
That's
you know,
great.
stuff like this.
That's wonderful.
But
That's
you are what? Who? What?
Jeannie Alexander with the Amos House.
Okay.
Yeah.
I already
And
asked you
we're-
that.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
I didn't have my microphone on.
You weren't interviewing me. It's okay.
And so, if somebody doesn't know you're from the Amos House, what do you tell them why you're here?
Well, the reason why we're here, and honestly, this is the reason why we've been here a number of times before, is because this church is probably the primary example of Christian nationalism, which is
Yeah. Oh, it's obstructed by the tree there.
absolutely and completely antithetical to everything Jesus preached and stood for and talked about. It could be no further from the truth and reality of Jesus' existence. And so while we grieve because inside people who purport to be followers of the way, followers of Jesus, are proclaiming hate and advocating killing and murder, we're out here to try to spread the true message, you know, and that is Jesus isn't about hate. Unequivocally, without exception, Jesus is nonviolent and is about love. I mean, we are called to love our enemies, and you can't love your enemies when you're killing them, and when you're rounding them up, and when they're suffering extraordinary rendition, and when they're being locked away in hellholes to rot for years.
Yeah.
You know, it's also to speak out against the ideology that's being put forth here, you know. The ideology that it's okay to have Muslims in your country, in the United States and Europe, if they're willing to adopt your religion and your values and in essence no longer be Muslim.
Right.
I mean, first of all, that presumes homogenous religion and values, which is a lie,
Yeah.
which doesn't exist. It's incredibly dangerous. I mean, how many times does this have to happen? How many times in 100 years does this have to happen? How many people have to die before people understand that violence and hate and fear and intolerance are not the way? That can't be the way. And that the only solution is love.
Amen.
So, amen.
Is Amos House? I mean, is that a national
Nope.
movement kind of thing, or is that an
It's
independent?
just we're just local
Yeah.
and independent.
I guess
We're-
I guess a lot of organizations like this use that name because
Oh, really?
of the profit.
I was only aware of the one in Rhode Island. That kind of we're in the Catholic worker tradition.
Yeah.
We're kind of a monastic urban movement,
Right.
trying to figure out what that looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a North Carolina, you know, in the Durham area.
Uh-huh.
You know of them?
Silk Road.
No, it's no, I can't think of the guy's name, but he was a Duke divinity student. They started a community.
Yes.
Ruthba House.
Oh, Rhode House. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You gotta go up that way.
Oh,
Yeah?
sure.
Okay. Oh, sorry. You got to go up that way. I thought you meant we did.
Oh yeah, they're great. Good guy. So then, yeah, if you know them, if you've interviewed them, it's
Yeah.
pretty
Shane
similar.
Claiborne in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Yeah, his
We know
teacher
Shane.
at Eastern College is a big, like he was an influence on me
Yeah.
when
Well,
I was
great.
just out of seminary. Tony Kimpolo.
Uh-huh.
So,
Oh, yeah.
Red Letter Christians.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Tony's here all the time.
Yeah.
Really, there.
Well, my dad is retired from Habitat for Humanity,
Yeah.
but he goes to a bunch of their events, and Campolo came and spoke at Rutherford County,
Yeah.
and so I got to take him to the airport after he was done,
Wow.
because my dad had to stay around for something else, so that
That's
was fun.
pretty cool. That's great. Yeah. Oh yeah, Red Letter Christians.
Say your name again.
Jeannie Alexander.
Jeannie Alexander.
Yep. And that's Ben and Tara.
Ben and Terry?
Terra.
Tara.
Yes.
Ben
Yes.
and Tara.
Yep.
Well, that's Tara, and that's
Yeah.
What? No.
No, I'm
no.
Yeah, that's a joke.
And so, who are you guys with, or what are you here for? Why'd you come here?
Well, I came here because I also, like Jeannie, believe that the message of the Bible and the message specifically of Jesus is love. And the thing is, the individual who's speaking inside Geert Wilder's is using particular parts of the Quran to put out images of Islamic belief overall as being a violent, hate-driven religion. And I just don't. I think that you can do that with any religion.
Sure. I mean Bill Maher does it with Christianity.
Yeah.
And
if you
Islam
look
too.
if you look at the Old Testament, there's plenty of violence there. There's plenty
sure.
of things that you could take out of context.
Yeah. The one that I always use is troublesome passage. Blessed is he who smashes the little ones against the rocks.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, and he's taking. I've seen some of the video that's I'm assuming is similar to what he's going to be presenting tonight, and he's just completely taking things out of context and taking isolated incidents, and trying to take statistics that, such as so many % of crime is now committed by Muslims. Well, if you assume that people of any religion are going to commit crimes a certain percentage.
Sure.
And as the people of a certain religion, as that proportion of the population grows, that they're going to count for more of the crime rate.
Right.
It's a statistics thing. So I think that it's really terrible how he's trying to use that to drive hate. So I would like to see it shift away from that and be able to welcome and love the people that we're being told to hate. Because that's the ultimate test. It's easy to hate.
Yeah.
It's much harder to love.
That it is.
Yeah.
So, are you with Amos or?
I'm with Amos House.
Yeah.
And then I also am part of Move On.
Okay.
MoveOn.org.
Yeah.
But I'm overridingly here with Amos House, trying to kind of spread the message that God is love, not hate.
Well, I was telling those guys down there that I was planning this today, and I didn't know about this tonight yet. And then I was talking to a pastor that I know kind of shares my disgust with a lot of his stuff. And he said, well, you ought to go to this thing in East Nashville up in Cornerstone Church. And I said, oh, well, thanks for telling me that. I think I will.
Yeah, part of me really wants to go inside, but I don't think that we'd be welcome.
I wanted to go. I mean, my initial intention was to go into the lobby and kind of mill around and talk to people.
Yeah.
As they were going in or coming in. Well, they wouldn't let me in with the camera.
Oh, okay.
So they said, you got to be outside.
Okay.
And it just stopped raining. I said, in the rain?
Yeah. Well, you're with more reasonable people out here, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all right.